So, guys, we didn't totally slam it. It got some hits. It's kind of bruised up.
Yeah,
But
you got some nice. You have some nice scenes in there. Okay, but sorry, I'm not gonna do. I can't do that for anyone who came, saw the films, paid the money, invested all of that time, and then tell you, yeah, forget all about that. That doesn't matter. Just judge it on over here. That's what certain people. Not saying any names. That's what certain people want you to do so they can keep getting your money. That's how they get you to buy newfangled toothbrushes.
Not this guy. He would never do anything like that.
No, yeah, of course not.
I don't believe
It's
that.
a good movie. Enjoy it. You're going to watch. You're going to like it on movie. You're going to like it on TV. It's going to be enjoyable. This is something you're going to watch again.
And look for his name in the credits.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled. Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
Welcome, everybody, to Spinnerack. The crew is here. Woo! We're going to be talking about that movie. The one that's been causing all the controversy. The one that's been unfairly slammed. The one that's been treated badly. The one that everybody doesn't know what they're talking about because they don't know what they're talking about because they're friggin' critics and they don't have any friggin' rights. But listen, guys, we're going to talk about that hot-ass movie, Justice League. Booyaka! Today, once again, the crew's in effect. We have Cal, we have Petey. Brothers, tell me what you think of this seminal epic of the DC universe. Okay?
Excuse me.
I will start, of course, with Slam Bang Petey.
Yeah, that's the right choice.
Okay, you know what?
That's the right
You
choice.
want to pop crap? You want to pop crap? You want to pop crap, Mr. Superman?
We're gonna do that
Pop
anyway,
these
so
up.
just let
no,
Petey
no,
go.
No, I want to hear what you got to say.
If PD is passing, I'll take it. If PD
All
is
right,
passing.
I'll go.
Damn, I tell you, bro.
So I went into this movie.
Oh, gosh.
Saw the
No,
trailers.
no,
The trailers
no.
look kind of bad. They look like bad backdrops and whatnot. And we keep seeing Aquaman sound like Denzel, my man, and whatnot. But then I got into it, got past the first. I mean, some of the stuff with Batman early on, I was worried about. But then when we get past that, that's like, hey, this Wonder Woman seems pretty good. And the cool part of Wonder Woman not having to hit every bullet.
Wait. Did you say Wonder Woman sound pretty good?
No, this first scene, it's like the one of them scene is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then as you go along, it's like, oh, another good scene. Oh, another good scene. 15 minutes in, it turned to the wife. It's like, oh, sweat. It's not too bad. So then, they start gathering, they separate. Then, what's the name? Then Cyborg's voice. Like, Cyborg's voice makes up for Aquaman talking like Denzel. Because I was just like, wow, Cyborg sounds pretty cool. He did. He sounded pretty cool. So then next it was like, all right, you got some of your cheese in there, resurrecting Superman. But I thought he was just gonna pop up at the end. So I was like, all right, they're gonna just go with it. They're gonna resurrect him with Steppenwolf when he appeared in fighting the Amazons. I was like, oh man, this is what I want to see. A big fight, a big huge fight with the Amazons and whatnot. And then every time he swung that thing around, it looked amazing. So I was like, and then we had at a local theater, so it was like, I couldn't see all of the issues with the CGI, so I was just like, all right, this is fine. The Superman part, bringing him back is kind of, like, what are you going to do? But then when he comes back and he's like, has a little, miasma, and he's like, I just remember, Batman was, an a-hole, so I'm going to take it to him. And then the scene after, when Batman's kind of hurt from the hits, that's a good Bruce Wayne scene. That's what we didn't see. And I'm liking Affleck a little more finally because I hated him in Suicide Squad as Batman and in B versus S. This one, it was kind of getting a little better.
You mean he's a human being?
Yeah, and
as
then
opposed to just a full-out jerk?
Yes.
Let him talk.
No, that's fine. That's
He can
fine.
keep
That one
going.
is fine. But then you had Amber Heard under the water. I was like, oh, I forgot Amber Heard was in there playing Mira. Amber Heard is in the movie.
She likes guys who have roles that deal with water.
There we go. So then at the end we have we had the moment with Superman back at the farm, and I was like, this is cool. We're getting some human. I feel the parts that Josh Whedon had is adding those human elements about the people surrounded by the parademons. These moments is what ground your story, and you have to have. And what we were missing, because in Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman, it's always Lois getting pushed off a building. That's the human moment. The human moment is just ordinary people trying to escape the destruction of the entire world, and that's what I needed.
Yeah, Avengers 2.
And then once you get to the end, and Superman comes back, and Superman's having fun, and Superman's laughing. Even the Flash, even though the Flash is almost like the Blue Beast, like it's a different character and a different approach, it was just sort of fun having him say, "Hey, I haven't really done much. In being the Flash, you don't necessarily have to do much to stop somebody. You could just shove here, push here." So it's like, it's not my Flash, but they're just going somewhere different, sort of like Aquaman. So I was like, in this story, I'm okay. And then Batman being sidelined at points where Cyborg takes over the machine's Batman. All right, I got this. I know how to utilize this. So then, in that moment at the end where Superman shows that he's probably could take him out, but just the chink in Steppenwolf's armor was enough to give us a little bit of twist. So I'm like saying, is there going to be any sort of twist at the end? And just having the parademons sort of feed, and then just seeing the boom tube. That's what I like. I love seeing the boom tube and not explaining it. The mother boxes, they're cool. They're cool not having them like an iPad or something like that, or a real funky iPad. But there's, I said it was watchable and it was enjoyable. That's my review of it. Doesn't fix anything, but is enjoyable.
Utter shock. Utter complete shock. Petey has come back to
Oh,
life.
God.
Dr. Evil, can you please give us your review?
I will not be so kind. Well, the problem is, I go into this film, and like Pete said, I watched one scene. I was like, hey, I mean, I thought the first scene that really made me perk up was the Wonder Woman scene. I was like, yeah, that's like straight out of a comic how she would handle it. Some speed here, this, that, and the other, the bracelets, even to the last point when she has this motion right there. I was like, yeah, that's straight out of like an Alex Ross painting, when that comes. I was like, okay, this is good. And then I remind myself, Wonder Woman has been their most consistent character over 3 films. She's pretty much the same, and she's gotten better because they've been able to develop on what they did in that first film. And that reminds me, hey, this wasn't the only film. There were other films that came before this, and that's where the questions came in. It's like the world is going to hell in a handbasket because Superman was dead. I was like, half you people didn't like him to begin with. So how do you got to this point? I'm not 100% certain. Batman seems to be, he's much more, regretful over the thing. But then I'm looking at his character in this film as opposed to in BVS. I was like, this is like 2 different characters. One guy it seemed like he was just birthed from a jerk machine. This guy over here seems to have a lot more nuance, to his characterization. Even that conversation he has with Wonder Woman, okay, where she's like, you have to let it go. He's like, well, you didn't let it go. You still been mourning this dude who's been dead for 100 years. It's like, good. Those are actually good beats right over here. And then I'm scratching myself. Why didn't I get this in the other damn film? Okay, no.
Different director.
No, I'm not going to let you get off. I'm not going to let anybody get over on that, okay? These films were supposed to do what? To build an interconnected universe. What people want you to do is say, oh, no, just judge this one by itself. Just judge this one. No, you are building an interconnected universe. And where it kept failing for me is that you see the interaction with these guys, and they seem to be much more even. Aquaman comes up, no, I don't want to do it. Okay? And that's it. Okay, that's the Zack Snyder right over here. And then the next thing you know, he's coming to save these dudes. And I'm like, why the hell did he decide to save them? They never had any other conversation. That's the Josh Whedon part. I would have to get into it. But we never got that. We never got to see these guys sprinkled out in meeting and having that conversation to actually build on any sort of chemistry, any sort of characterization between each other, so that the Justice League moment means more than just, hey, we got everybody here together in this film. Does it have good moments? Yeah, it has some moments that are not just good, it has some moments that are great. Like, one of the best things I liked about it, Superman comes back and handles everybody. For a Superman fan, I was like, yeah, this was great. But then again, I'm looking at this, I was like, you could have done this earlier. Okay, you guys decided that Superman could not be Superman. That Superman, as he would come from the comics, as a Boy Scout, as somebody who has some cheer in his heart and some light on his face. No, we can't do that. Being Superman has to be a weighty struggle. Should we save people? Maybe. That's what we got from the beginning. Now we come over here, and it's like all of a sudden he's resurrected. All that stuff his dad told him is out the window. So it's like literally, I'm watching a film with all different characters. Like these other guys were from an alternate universe. We get into that whole fight, and I mean, for any Superman fan, watching the Flash trying to sneak up on Superman. Okay, and then he just looks out of the corner. He looks out of the corner of his eyes, like, "What do you think you're doing?"
Excellent scene.
Okay, and then he turns his head, and the Flash looks on his face, is like, "Oh, he actually sees me." Okay, yeah, that's a perfect geek out. That's a perfect geek out moment. He even tags him, so you can keep the rivalry going on. And then, of course, I won't ruin the end credits or anything, but if you're a real Superman Flash race guy like me, that was great. It was poetic to be at the most part, because they do it because certain things are done friendly as opposed to being adversarial. But you can't wash away what came before, because these guys were building towards this particular moment. And it falls flat at the end of the day because of how you decided to get there. These aren't changes that happen organically. These are changes that happen because you got pilloried so hard in your previous films. This was never the end result. Okay, Zack Snyder's vision was not for a Superman who was going to be cheerful or lighter. Zack Snyder's vision was he was going to bring Superman back. Superman was going to join Steppenwolf. And the Justice League, such as they may be, were going to have to fight him. And then after this fight, Lois would somehow bring him back, and then he would join the Justice League, which meant if this had stayed on, as you said, same director, we would have been dealt with even more negative Superman. Even more. And the audience already said, hey, we don't want that. Okay? Now,
but they made the changes, though.
My condolences to Zack Snyder, because the only reason why he didn't finish the film is because of, the death in his family. And our condolences go out to Zack Snyder. Hearts go out to him and so on and so forth. But I do believe if that had not been the case, he would have saw this all the way to the end. And that vision that he had was the same vision that had been rejected once, twice. It would have been rejected again. I come over here and you can see the fingerprints. You can see where Snyder is. You can see where Whedon is. And that for me speaks tantamount to the major problem with what was going on. The vision was skewed from the start. We get here, and as much as I would just like to put everything to the side and say, hey, I enjoyed it, I'm not an idiot. Okay, the reason why these things happen is because of what the mistakes were over, in the past. Now you have audiences coming out saying, hey, we enjoyed it, but it's making less money. Now you have audience coming out and say, hey, I enjoyed myself. I would like to come and see it again, but the critical reception isn't there. You squandered so much goodwill on 3-4 films. And then what was the film that was the tantamount film that really sucked it out from you? Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was the film that sucked away all of your hype, got all of your good press, got everything that this film needed to do because of the way that you set everything out. So now, hey, did I enjoy it? Yeah, I enjoyed it. Was it good? Yeah, sure, it was good. I can say all of that type of stuff. But it doesn't mean anything because I don't even know if you're going to be able to make another one, because now the bottom line isn't going to be there for you. At the end of the day, I hate to say disappointing, but from start to finish, so many different missteps, and they culminate here. They culminate here to the point you squandered so much goodwill at the end of the day, and you never needed to do that. You realized who's the focus of your universe too late. You realize that these characters need to be uplifting and hopeful and inspirational too late. You realize that you can put Batman on a team, okay, and he doesn't have to be a jackass too late. Right? You'll get Aquaman because it's made, and you'll definitely get another Wonder Woman film. Are we going to see another Justice League film? It's incredibly doubtful at this point. All right, the numbers aren't kind, and for every article you can say it's doing great overseas. I can pull 2 more articles saying, hey, people are, they're crapping bricks in their pants, and it all goes back to your foundation. When Marvel did their films, their foundation was steady. DC, foundation was not, or rather Warner Brothers, the foundation was not. Yeah, I hate to say disappointing because it just sounds so cliche at the end of the day, but I can't think of another word. It's just such a big misstep, and this film reminds us that you didn't have to go in that particular route.
Well, thank
Sorry
you,
to
Cal.
say.
What can I say? We have 2 diametrically opposed views here. One person is looking at the movie. Another person
All
is
right,
looking at the whole universe.
let's give your review. What is your review of the movie?
Of course you know my friggin' review is excellent. Dude, I had a great time. I go to a movie, I watch it for what it is. I don't look into this whole universe of how everything... Look, Was it different? Yes, it was different. Well, the characters changed a bit? Yes, they changed. But people can grow. Characters can grow, you know? And Batman can grow from where he was, and Superman can grow. The world can realize there's a problem with the world because Superman is no longer there and say, please bring him back. It's natural. Obama's no longer president. People are saying, please bring him back. Did you see that SNL thing? You know? Come back, Barack.
This is the same guy.
So, you
Same
know-
guy. It's a Batman world, baby. And Superman's just flying around
All
in
right,
it.
let's-
And I'm
let's-
still with
let's
that.
finish
It's a
it.
Batman world. Batman is the center of this. He brought the team together. The Justice League, he's getting the housing. This is the man. It's a Batman world, and Superman flies around in it. I'm not with that. But you know what? I gotta say, Superman was good here. He came back, his total awesomeness. That scene with the Flash just encapsulates everything. When he has Batman, he's choking Batman. He's about to kill Batman, and then the secret weapon. Who comes back? Amy Adams shows up. It's not really
Lois Lane.
well, you can call her Lois Lane, but she's always gonna be Amy Adams to me. She comes up and she shows, you know, and she stops Superman from killing him. You know, excellent scene.
I like-
Batman realizes how, you know, we all know that he's not as strong as Superman, but Batman always has all eventualities thought out because he brought Amy Adams back. I said,
No,
yeah,
that's not
baby.
the same
yeah,
thing.
it's the same
It's not
thing.
the
Because he's
same
off the
thing.
hook. He
It's
had,
not the
yo,
same
he had
thing.
what's the name bringer. He
He's
knew what was
supposed
gonna
to be
happen.
bringing kryptonite. That's the idea.
the
Like,
idea-
that's-
that was his
the
kryptonite, 'cause
Batman
you know
from the other movie was
Would have
bringing
brought kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
That's how different
But
it is.
But he changed. That's what I'm trying to say. He realized he
But
wasn't
he said
back
he was
in
bringing the
movie.
big guns, and
Yeah,
Amy
I
Adams shows up, and you see the legs. I was like, yeah, they're the big guns. Yeah, yeah,
But the point
baby.
is he changed at the very end of the movie. GBS, you see he's changed his point of view of Superman, especially after after what happened with what's his name, the anti-Superman. All right, he comes back. Right, we can see the change. I don't see what the problem is. You're making too much of it.
Well,
Zack
no,
Snyder-
I think there's well, I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it. I know you're gonna make me bleep this out, but as Cal said, and
Ninja,
he said it.
please?
He said no. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
No, I'm saying like this. They used up all their in the first two movies,
Yeah.
so now nobody gives a right. I had to say it. I'm
Yo,
sorry.
Bleep that out. Please. Look,
No, it's like they're hanging on the cliff right over there. Like, hey, we got a good film over here. Why don't you help us up so you can see it? Sorry, can't give it.
Boy,
Yeah,
they
no,
cried wolf.
the
Boy, they
film
cried
made
wolf.
$1 billion.
You don't know this. is
What
good.
film?
The last one.
Which
Made
one?
almost
What film
$1
made $1 billion?
The first one, BVS. Almost
No,
$1
it
billion.
didn't.
Almost $1 billion. It made a
You
tremendous.
keep misleading the people. You said $1 billion, and then you say almost.
Well, you know, we
You're
All
not
right,
running
all
for,
right,
you're
all
not
right.
running for
Just-
office,
But
man. Just speak
the
straight.
point I'm trying to say here is that, you know, these films, yes, I believe some of their goodwill was taken up because of what they gave before. But this film is one of the better films in the whole series of all the DCEU films. All right, let's admit that. Yes, it's cut short.
But-
Everybody wants to see Zack Snyder. I mean, I'm sick of this. People want to see Zack Snyder. This is the vision that we did with,
Oh.
with Joss Whedon. You want to see Zack Snyder's? You know, you would have hated it.
No,
So
those
this is
are
what I'm trying to complain. I'm sick of this crap.
those are man children or woman children, as you want to say, who refuse to admit they can't. It's like we'll get into it later with King Thor and World War Hulk, where the guys just won't let it go. It's like, look, it wasn't good. If you say it wasn't good, that doesn't mean you hate Batman or hate Superman or hate the DC characters. It's this offering right over here is not good, and they can't let go
But
of
this
it.
is what
So
I'm
it's
trying
always
to
going
say.
to be something. Look at the money. No, look at the fan reaction. No, it was Whedon. No, it was Snyder. And when everything is played out, and at the end of the day, it's still the same. They just go back and stew, and they're just waiting for it. They have to,
But
you have to be
this
adult
is an
about it.
enjoyable movie. I mean, all the elements are there. You can even see Avenger elements, like when he drops, when the guy falls on.
It's a
Artistic.
Pyrrhic
Look, it was
victory, man. It's a Pyrrhic
not
victory at the end of the day.
The question, what we do, we're looking to see whether this film is a good film. Would you recommend? That's the whole purpose of this show. Are we recommending people to go see this film? I recommend because I think it's a good show. I think that
I
there are
recommend also.
a lot of elements, especially the changes that they've made, they've helped the wholesale universe.
You can wait.
I think this is a good.
That's not
can
no.
wait. You can
no,
wait.
I would
You know,
say
the
I
fact
would
that-
no. I would add to this is that look at the enthusiasm Cal had towards the scenes he talked about,
Right.
and that's what
You
you
can see all
draw
that on
from.
YouTube for free.
So I mean, another element that I think that we have to look at is
No, okay, that's I gotta cut. That's going out. I
No,
can't-
no.
You can't have that going to YouTube.
right. But your thing you have to look
I
at.
don't. Want,
too-
you're making me work. Sorry.
But one thing you gotta look. One thing you
work-
gotta look at is the
Well, how about
dichotomy
it?
between the
Maserati.
the reviewers and the people who actually see the film. I mean, there is.
Oh, you're not going to bring up that straw man. Come on, man.
We gave our review.
No. You can't bring that
But
straw
you brought
man.
it up. You brought it up.
You can't bring
You
that
brought
straw
it-
man
You
into
brought it
here.
up, and now you don't want to know someone
That's
else.
not the point. It's
Yes,
not the
it
point.
is.
It's not
You
the
brought it up, and you
quality.
can't come-
It is the quality of the film.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a reviewer or regular.
All
Let's
I'm
just say
saying
regular
is- all
audience
I'm
people
saying
somehow
is a
don't have the
consistent-
intellect to see it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying there's a consistent
goal is that-
issue.
the
I
end
let
goal
you
is that-
speak. The issue is consistently there's some type of issue with the reviewers who keep bombing all the DC
But
films on a regular
they
basis.
do
That is
that
such
all
a
the time.
nutcase,
You
man.
can't get
there's a
into
huge-
that. You
no.
can't get into
No,
that
No, we
because
can. He
you
brought up
can't
the
get
whole
into.
reviewers and the people audience here. I'm shooting it back. I can't
I'm
bring
saying
it back.
that-
If you shoot
You're
it
not shooting. You're not shooting anything back. You're using it for your own purpose.
Bazooka! Bow! 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 You know, come
No,
on.
it's a straw man at the end of the day because it's about the quality of the film, not who
And I think
reviews it or who likes it.
I agree, but I'm saying it also. If you want to bring up the stuff that reviews and people are looking at and liking, hey, I can bring up the same thing too, bro. You know, look, I
That
like
wasn't
the
the
film.
point I made.
I like the film.
If you want to bring it up, fine. At least bring it up in context with what the point I made. That's not what you're doing.
I'm bringing up in terms of the point that we're talking about. You know, I'm trying to say that, you know, you're bringing up this whole history, and when the history changed, you want everything to be the exact same. Superman was not treated kindly. I understand that with kind.
No,
kid
that has
gloves
nothing to
beginning.
do with it.
You know
Like
what
I
I'm
said,
trying
the
to- and
end
so-
result
and so
was
it-
what?
And so it changed
You
your
started
view
with
on
Man
everything.
of Steel, and your end result was supposed to be Justice League. So if you want to say, hey, look, forget everything else and
But
just
it
pay
can
attention to
change.
this.
I think it's perfectly fine. It wasn't a
I
problem.
already acknowledged the change. That's not the point. The point is, the whole idea wasn't for you to make a Justice League film for people to come out and just grade that. You made all of these films leading up to this to have a cinematic universe, and they're not alone. Okay, you had, they were supposed to have the Dark Universe over here with the monsters, and
Right,
the Mummy
right.
was supposed to be the first one. That movie didn't hit. Now it's looking like it, you know, we don't know if it's going to happen, if it's going to be in jeopardy. So if you want to, look, if you want people to make that sort of decision, fine. But they came out and saw all the films, and it was supposed to be the big reward. Just like with Avengers, the big reward was supposed to be in everybody getting together for this grand team up, all the heroes, and that was supposed to be the
But
icing
that
or the,
is
or
what
the cake on the
happened.
cake.
That's what happened. I mean, you're saying, oh, because it didn't follow the exact Zack Snyder. They looked at it. There was some issues with that particular way that
No,
was
'cause
going,
you-
and they changed it up. That's
Hey,
all I'm saying. I mean,
PD, as
you
much
can't-
as, you know, I guess we have to believe about some more, but hey, what PD said is pretty much where it is. You got to where you were supposed to do it, but you did it in such a fashion that nobody gives a damn.
Well, okay, let's keep it. No, let's keep it. Let's keep it here. There's a point that Cal made about the goodwill being lost, and there's a point that you're making about the fact that reviews can slam a movie and keep people from like the movie, even though the movie made money overseas.
Yeah.
It can. This stuff happens, and then sometimes you find this is the whole point. We're doing our reviews. We're not saying it fixes anything because Clark Kent. We don't know how he works in this universe. So
He's got
that's
his
what-
job back. I was like, how the hell did that happen?
So once you go to that point, we have to say that this is it's almost a sliding scale this way, but it's not that bad. It's going up a little where you say, hey, or maybe you're in the middle and I'm here and Cal is a little down there.
Little, I think it's down here.
But we gave it a fair review. I would say that. And
I mean,
we're
I would
sort of
love
there.
to see. I would love to see a sequel. I would love to see a sequel that they can, fine. It can stand on its own 2 feet. Doesn't have to deal with anything else because everything's been established. And then I could walk into that and say, okay, you did all the parameters. I don't need to think about anything else. I can just I can judge this strictly, okay, on the runtime that you have over here. But it would be no different with Avengers. If Avengers had been this incredible flop, after all the setup, everybody would have hit it, been like, oh, look at all this waste of time. Nobody would have said, hey, just judge it on this one over here, because you were building towards something. And they were building towards
And
something
they
here.
changed, and it became better. Look, we're not gonna disagree on this. Listen, what do you think about the characters? What do you think about Cyborg, Flash? We know about Wonder Woman. We know about Batman. But what about those supporting characters? What do you guys think about those? How did Aquaman come out?
I'm going to wait and watch the Aquaman film.
But in the movie here.
I'm
so
going to
far.
wait and watch the
All right,
Aquaman
so what do
film.
you say, PD?
I enjoy. As I said before, I enjoyed the Flash, even though it's a different character than what we saw before. And they had aspects of a character. This is supposed to be the young character in the group, learning how to use his powers and then learning how to save people,
The
and
everyman.
stuff like that.
He's the everyman of the group.
Yeah, so you getting to see that you're in their eyes. But then you have Cyborg, which is the pseudo dark character, but it was just like cool hearing the voice. And I hadn't warmed up to Cyborg being in the superpowers. Like I was okay with Firestorm being there, but it's like Cyborg's a Teen Titan, and every time they brought him back when Jim Lee was doing the Justice League, it's like he's a Titan. And then this one, okay, this feels different, and this is a different character because I remember Vic Stone being like a computer tech guy. I think he was just a athlete. So then in
Well,
this
everybody
one,
gets aggrandized for obvious, for obvious reasons. Who would I wouldn't have put Cyborg in the league. Who would you have put in the league instead of
But
Cyborg?
hold on, no, that's not. Let's finish up. So
I
listen,
still go
so-
Green Lantern.
I know, but I think
John
Yeah.
Stewart, right?
But,
And that way you get your color.
Right.
And,
but I think they're going to do something different with Green Lantern. But I think that I thought Cyborg was pretty good in the movie.
Yeah, oh, I know,
much
yeah.
better than I expected.
Yes.
I had at first just written him off as a character who was just something, a side piece basically. But he basically became very important, very interesting.
The actor was strong, especially because of his voice. Like that's really
The
gave
voice
a
was
presence before we saw him. So then, because he was so ornate, look at the outfit. It's like got so much. It's so busy.
too
I'm like
much,
saying,
yeah.
come on. And then when they had it covered, and then in the end they clean it and go sort of to the classic
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
So I was like, you should have done that in the whole film.
Exactly
But
my
thank
point.
you- thank you,
Like,
Josh
why are you waiting
Whedon.
until the end to clean this up? It looks so much better. Why didn't you just do that
Yes,
from the start?
yeah.
It
It's
could have
like-
been, I don't have control over this. Well, just get control faster.
Well, I think they had the beginning of the movie was mostly done. Most of the movie was done, I think, before Zack Snyder pulled out. And
When
they
Josh
had-
Whedon like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
sucks. Can we change it at least at the end so
We
you
have
know
to change
it's going to
certain
look
things,
like
right, so-
something later?
Exactly.
You know.
So they didn't want to throw out the whole baby with the bathwater. They just had to just fix whatever they could fix.
That baby wasn't looking too good. Sorry.
It's all brown and yellow. Not getting much better.
So, guys, we didn't totally slam it. It got some hits. It's kind of bruised up.
Yeah,
but
you got some nice. You have some nice scenes in there. Okay, but sorry, I'm not gonna do. I can't do that for anyone who came, saw the films, paid the money, invested all of that time, and then tell you, yeah, forget all about that. That doesn't matter. Just judge it on over here. That's what certain people. Not saying any names. That's what certain people want you to do so they can keep getting your money. That's how they get you to buy
Not this guy.
newfangled toothbrushes.
Not this guy. He would never do anything like
no,
that.
yeah, of
Let
course
me
not.
tell
I
you,
don't believe
it's
that.
a good movie. Enjoy it. You're gonna watch. You're gonna like it on movie. You're gonna like it on TV. It's gonna be enjoyable. This is something you're gonna watch again.
And look for his name in the credits.
Spinner Rack out.
Ouch.